What's up, everybody? This is TJ Tassoni, mortgage broker, owner of Tayton Capital. Today, I'm going to talk about the top 5 things you should know about before moving to Fort Collins, Colorado. And as always, feel free to like, subscribe, comment, whatever you feel is necessary to help me come up with the new best content for you. I come out with new videos every single Friday, so I always want to make sure that you have access to it. So if you have any suggestions, feel free to let me know. And let's hop right into it. All right, guys, so my number one reason what you should kind of focus on before moving to Fort Collins is being aware of how close Fort Collins is to the reservoir. So we're at Horsetooth Reservoir today, as well as lots of biking trails and lots of areas to fish and camp. So I'll use the reservoir as an example just because that's where I am. Horsetooth is relatively large. It's about 6.2 miles, all the way around. So you can do a lot of biking around this area. I have personal friends who live in Fort Collins that they go bike riding almost every single day. It's just a short little bike ride up a kind of a steep hill. And once you get up here, you've got this incredible view. As you can see, it's absolutely gorgeous. So we can take a second to kind of show you around a little bit. Some little cliff diving action right here if you so choose. Might not want to though, because you might die by landing on all those rocks. Being in where I live in Denver, Fort Collins is only an hour and a half drive depending upon traffic to get here. And it's a really nice escape. You can come swimming in the summer and it gets really hot here in the summertime. I think the last summer I came up here was, in the 90s, and there's lots of like little beach areas where you just park, walk down, and they actually kind of rope off areas where you can swim, so they keep it safe. And then you'll see lots of people out here on boats. If you're into boating and the kind of the camping as a whole, this is a really great area to do that. When I think about being in Fort Collins, everyone loves Colorado for its landscape and the things that you can do outdoors, but Fort Collins, it's the perfect location to do that because you've got the best of everything. You've got fishing, you've got boating, you've got hiking, you've got mountain biking. It's all right here, and you don't have to drive very far to do it. It's really only a 20-minute drive if you live, downtown Fort Collins, 20 minutes top. So it's really close by. It's a really nice luxury to have that. What's up, guys? This is TJ Tassoni, mortgage broker, owner. This is my number 2 reason of why you should consider moving to Fort Collins, Colorado, or what to consider while you move here. It's the craft brewery scene. So I'm standing outside New Belgium. And so in Fort Collins, there's, I believe, 20 different craft breweries. New Belgium is probably one of the most famous ones. They have a lot of brewery tours that you can go through and just check out, every week. And they have a lot of different kinds of beer that come out seasonally or that they have just on draft all the time. New Belgium is, one of my favorite beers. I think when I was in college, we had an environmental economics class where we actually did a project on New Belgium. And they're really popular because of their sustainability efforts. They are a private company, but they give up equity ownership to its employees. So they have a really great camaraderie amongst the people they work with. And they do what's called Tour de Fat every year. It's kind of a fun little bike parade that they do in downtown Fort Collins. Everyone dresses up in really goofy outfits and they hand out beers. And they're really famous in their bicycle campaigns where a lot of the staff will ride bikes to work, and they have the quintessential bike cruiser as kind of one of their pictures in their emblem. And I remember when we were in college, one of my friends on they had one of those Thursday beer nights or something. They had it was kind of like a drinking competition or something, and my roommate actually ended up winning one of the cruisers. And so it was a really beautiful color. It was kind of a dark yellow and red, and he was so excited when he won that bike cruiser. And it made sense, and it was actually pretty funny of the timing because that was actually the same time that I had that actual project. So gotta rank the craft brewery scene in Fort Collins as the number 2 kind of thing to think about before you move out here, because let's be honest, Colorado does it really well. We've got a lot of different breweries, but Fort Collins is definitely very popular for that, so that's something to keep in mind. And when you come out here, let's go get one together. We'll have a cold one. It'll be a good time. All right, what's up guys? So I'm going to talk about my number 3 reason of things to think about before moving to Fort Collins. So I want to talk about the job market a little bit. So in Fort Collins, the job market is very strong, and so I'm looking at some data against the U.S. as a whole in relation specifically to Fort Collins. So the national unemployment rate in the U.S. currently is about 6%. Whereas in Fort Collins is at 5.6%. It's a little bit better than what the current average is, but here are the facts that are really the most exciting. So future job growth for the US is up 33.5%, while Fort Collins is up 51.8%. So that's a massive amount of potential growth in the economy. So if you're thinking about moving to Colorado for the lifestyle, you're also going to be able to have a really good career, as well as there's a lot of jobs that are going to be coming on the market, over the course of the next couple of years. So in the past 10 years, the US increased by 6.3%, whereas Fort Collins increased by 21.5%. So again, a very massive growth for that area in relation to the US economy as a whole. So it's very stable. Very well, I guess stable is the right word, stable and continuing to grow. So something to think about there. With that being said, so the median family income for the US is around just under $71,000 a year, whereas Fort Collins is about $86,000 a year. So when you're looking at the amount of occupations that have the most amount of people that do those jobs in Fort Collins, you'll see jobs like management, business, finance, engineering, computers, and science. And then you have to keep in mind that there is Colorado State University's in Fort Collins, so you're going to have a lot of jobs that are specific to administration or education, teaching, things of that degree. So those are some really good things to think about when moving to Colorado, and that's why I put that at my number 3 reason of things to think about before you do so. What's up guys? I want to talk about my number 4 reason of things to think about before moving to Fort Collins, Colorado. One of the things that really kind of stands out to me is the fact that very community-centric attitude, or they have a very kind of hyper localized focus on community. And so what I mean by that is you have this like small town feel, the environmentally friendly culture, but I think the people as a whole really focus on doing things locally, supporting local businesses. So for whatever the reason, you could go to, shopping, eating, drinking local, whether you're looking at more than the 400 restaurants that they have there, the 20 or so local breweries that they have there, the farmers markets, local boutiques, anything of that sort is very popular in Fort Collins. Now, in the summertime, you're going to see lots of different, free sorts of music festivals like Lagoon Summer Concert Nights or Series, Bohemian Nights, New West Fest, looking at the car shows that come through. So you've got a lot of different options as far as the shopping restaurant scene, but really the fact that because the town itself has all of those things, it's really easy to say, I want to help out the small stores, mom and pop, restaurants, things of that nature, as opposed to, ordering on Amazon, things like that. So I think the mindset about the people that live in Fort Collins is that small town vibe feel. So I think that is a very nice attribute about Fort Collins that you should consider before moving there. Talk about my number 5 reason of things to think about before moving to Fort Collins, Colorado. So let's hop into it. So I believe the accessibility of getting around Fort Collins with bicycles is very, very good. So what I want to talk about a walk score and a bike score. So the website Walk Score basically talks about how accessible, running everyday errands are, going from 0 to 100. So 0 being horrible, can't do anything without having a car, to 100 being perfect, can do everything without a car. So in Fort Collins, the bike score is a 78 to 80, with 100 being perfect. That goes to show that it's extremely accessible to use, with your bike. Fort Collins, they've been rated as a platinum rated bicycle friendly community because they have more than 200 miles of dedicated bike lanes and 50 miles of marked and signed bike routes. The safety, number 1, is super important in Fort Collins, so that's why they do that. They want to make it easier for people to get around. They want to make it safer, so that's why they have so many dedicated bike lanes. The major bikeways that you can kind of think of off the top, include Spring Creek Trail, which is about a 7-mile pathway that goes from east to west across South Fort Collins. They added in the Pitkin Bikeway, and there's a 5-mile route route, which has dedicated street crossings for bikers and just pedestrians and walkers. And it begins kind of west of Avery Park and continues east on Pickens Street through the Colorado State University main campus and all through, a few parks as well as close by to the hospital. So accessibility for getting around with bikes is very, very good. And that's another reason to think about moving to Colorado. So in total conclusion, thinking about the reasons to be in Fort Collins, talked about Horsetooth Reservoir, craft brewery scene. Then you've got job security and job growth as a market as a whole. You've got bike scene, and then you've got the community feel and hyper localized focus around community. So with all those things to take into consideration, I've really appreciated the time again with you guys, and I always appreciate any feedback or any suggestions of things to talk about in the future. And as always, if you have any questions about mortgage specific scenarios or what it's like living in Colorado, please feel free to call, email, text at the information below. And always remember to subscribe and like my content, as I'm always going to be coming out with videos every single week. So thank you so much for your time. Have a great day. Take care. Bye.